Sebastian has a question about the future of one of the biggest film series in history, and here it is. Recently, people have been complaining about the state of the Star Wars franchise by saying that there's too many movies. Calm down, there's only 4. And saying that the box office receipts of Solo was the last straw. Disney is already restructuring their current plan for Star Wars, and there have been rumors that their current spin-off slate is on hold or even cancelled. And I want to ask where you stand and what Disney should do with Star Wars. So in case you have not been following the box office reports, Solo: A Star Wars Story was a big financial flop, the first one in the long-running franchise. As Sebastian has said, this has led many people to wonder about the future of the property. Me personally, I don't think Star Wars is going away anytime soon. Even with the failure of Solo, Disney still seems pleased with the work Kathleen Kennedy is doing, as they recently renewed her contract. However, one thing I think they will do is space out the releases a bit more. I think Disney was looking at how the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done with its multi-year releases and felt they could do the same with Star Wars. However, I think the key difference with Star Wars is its focus is not quite as large as the Marvel films, and the world has not been expanded in a major way. 8 of the films are focused on the Skywalker family and their story. Rogue One is set directly before the events of A New Hope, and Solo is about one of the main characters of the original trilogy. Compare that to the Marvel movies, where one film is about a World War II soldier in another time, another is about a Norse god and his cosmic adventures, and until Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy seemed to exist in its own separate thing. The Star Wars universe is incredibly small. Now, we will be seeing attempts to explore parts of that world unrelated to the Skywalkers, depending on what Jon Favreau, Rian Johnson, and the Game of Thrones showrunners do with their planned series. And I think that'll be a good way to expand the Star Wars mythology. But I do think it would be a good idea to have the releases of any planned films have more separation between them. Solo was only released 5 months after The Last Jedi, and that seemed to affect the marketing. For a big summer tentpole, they seem to only have a short window to advertise it, as in addition to the famed reshoots making production go longer, Disney clearly did not want Solo's advertising campaign to intersect with The Last Jedi's. Before Colin Trevorrow dropped out of directing Star Wars Episode 9, that chapter was going to open only a year and a half after Episode 8. There was a period when the waits between episodes used to be 3 years, so I was amazed they elected to release those 2 episodes close together. So I am glad J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy decided to move the release date up to Christmas 2019. As for the spin-offs, I know one about Obi-Wan Kenobi has been talked about for a while now, with Ewan McGregor being keen on reprising the role. I think the key to this one is trying to think of something for him to do on Tatooine in the years waiting until the events of A New Hope. McGregor was one of the best parts of the prequels, so I'm not opposed to the idea. Boba Fett's spin-off movie has also been talked about, but I've never found him as interesting as the fandom seems to think so. With the Star Wars stories, I think the team at Lucasfilm needs to really think about whether the public at large is interested in individual films about certain characters or events. Even the promise of seeing a young Han Solo and Lando Calrissian and the Millennium Falcon in its cleaner days only enticed a portion of the audience. What I would do is focus on Johnson and Benioff and Weiss's trilogies and then gauge the public reactions to those. Maybe they'll introduce fan-favorite characters that warrant films of their own. On the other hand, I'm not a movie executive, and not nearly as smart as Kathleen Kennedy. I'm sure there are many discussions behind closed doors at Lucasfilm and where to take Star Wars next that I'm not privy to. I'm only one person who enjoys Star Wars with my own individual opinions and my own favorite characters. In the end, we just have to wait and see what movies are greenlit and when the public will respond with ticket purchases. Thank you for your question, Sebastian.